again. It's been over 2 months since my first vlog, so I decided to update. Today's September 23rd, 2018. I'm 14 weeks and 2 days along, and I'm feeling good. This was just last month when I fit into these Vera Wang jeans I bought without trying on years ago, and they never fit until now. When I first put them on, I told John, I was like, hey, remember these pants I got? And I forgot what the designer was because I'm not into fashion, if you didn't know. And I called him Wong. I said, Vera Wong. Anyway, it was nice to get to wear pants that weren't yoga pants, even though I don't do yoga. I cheated on the diet here and there, but never in large amounts or with loads of sugar. I got burned out on a few of my staples like the peppers and hummus and zucchini, everything. But John and I have both managed to stick to the low-carb diet for the most part. John is more devoted than I am and has lost over 30 pounds since he started with me in July. And today my weight is 185. I started at around 202 when I had the attack in July that led me to this change in lifestyle. That's 17 pounds without a change in physical activity. I'm in my second trimester and I'm hoping not to gain too much for the pregnancy. My blood pressure is much lower as well. John's mom has helped a lot in making delicious keto foods for him and for us when we come over. We have had Mississippi pot roast, I made zucchini lasagna, I made stir-fry peanut chicken, cream cheese stuffed mushrooms, almond flour mozzarella sticks, and I tried the Keto Connect chewy cookie recipe from YouTube that was a disaster. These look crisp, and although they are burnt, they fell apart when you pick them up like just a gooey burnt mess. Louise has made delicious whole chickens in her rotisserie with these Cajun injectable seasonings that are really good, and I have enjoyed all the fresh salads with her ranch that she made. Fresh cucumbers, carrots, peppers, garbanzos, lettuce, avocado. Some keto meals that we have tried in the past few months eating out were Jersey Mike's sub in a tub. I get the Chipotle cheesesteak, no onion, and number 2, Mike's Way, no onion in a tub. They're pretty good and filling on a bed of lettuce. I have had Chipotle bowls without rice. I can't bring myself to cut out the pinto beans. And they also have fiber in them. And we had Jack in the Box breakfast that was bunless, and it was okay. If you're traveling and there aren't any options, then that's an option. But the American cheese is really gross to me, and there's actually a lot of sugar in it. And the bacon there doesn't taste real. In-N-Out protein style is good, but it gets boring. I don't always crave a burger, especially with the temptation of fries that I can't have. We did have a fun date night with my in-laws at a fancy restaurant called Perry's. It's a steakhouse. I had a filet and bacon and asparagus, sriracha Brussels sprouts, stuffed mushrooms, and creamed spinach. We also shared a little cheesecake minus the crust. Steak and veggies are my kind of meal, so I enjoyed that. I used a ham bone last week to make a bone broth, which I used to make a low-carb cauliflower ham soup. It was good, but it needed more ham. I also tried to make a keto cheesecake with ground almond crust, but I thought that the recipe called for way too much erythritol, the sweetener, so I didn't put enough, and it ended up tasting like cream cheese and sour cream. The quick meal I'm stuck on right now is chicken salad. We get these cans in bulk at Costco with mayo, cranberries, apples, pecans, and I add pine nuts. I have a half cup of raspberries every now and then for that tartness that I miss. These Stoka bars off Amazon are delicious and they satisfy that need for crunch. Anyway, I'm feeling a little thicker right below my stomach and my forehead seems to have grown. Actually, I think it's just the way the camera makes me look. I'm hoping. So I'm feeling a little thicker around my just below my stomach, and I got to see baby number 6 dancing around the ultrasound in my appointment earlier this month. We're waiting to find out the sex at birth, but it's going to be hard not knowing because I really want to know. Baby was having lots of hiccups during the ultrasound and measured right on target. The heart rate was 160, which old wives' tales predict that it makes it more likely to be a girl if it's over 140. I also saw my endocrinologist this month in order to get a refill on my metformin. Once again, another doctor is not fully on board with what I'm saying and doing. He thinks I should be eating starches during this pregnancy. I told him I don't restrict my vegetables despite the carbs, so I'm still getting some carbs. He also doubted my liver enzymes were high because when he tested them a year ago, they were normal when I first saw him. He said everyone has fatty liver and it takes a very long time to progressively damage it. He had never heard of the FibroScan. I told him the scan revealed advanced fatty liver with some fibrosis. He asked if they rescanned to make sure it wasn't a fluke. I told him the FibroScan reading is an average of 10 separate readings, so it's accurate. I was also getting sick from the carbohydrate intolerance, so I know that was what caused my liver issues. He pretty much just stopped talking and was dismissive, and we moved on. I don't really care what any of the doctors I'm currently seeing say. I have enough proof of my own to know I'm on the right path and that my body just doesn't tolerate simple carbs. On a side note, my mom, who does drink alcohol, I'm a teetotaler, and has high blood pressure or high blood sugar, has a healthier liver than I do. She went to the same doctor and had the FibroScan done. On a side note, that just shows me that my metabolic issues are more a genetic predisposition on my dad's side. My brother also has fatty liver, kidney stones, gout, high blood pressure, so our lifestyles really have to compensate for that. The endo did some blood work, and here are my results. This is the main reason I wanted to do this update, because this is the proof, if anybody else needed it other than me. My alkaline phosphatase was lower, which is good because higher levels indicate liver damage. My AST and ALT liver enzymes were lower. My HDL cholesterol was higher than it's ever been, which is the good cholesterol. I've never been able to get that number up, even when I was getting the total number of cholesterol within the normal range. My good cholesterol was still way low. So that's a good change. My triglycerides, which most doctors that I respect regarding low carb stuff are saying is more indicative of health and heart issues than the arbitrary cholesterol total, were much lower than ever as well. Look at the difference from a year ago. It was over 400 and now it's 122, I think. I don't know, I'm not looking at the picture. The hormone panel looked a little off with my T4 being a little high and my TSH very low, but then I read that ratio is normal in the first trimester of a pregnancy. So a clean bill of health for me and baby. The endo reduced my metformin to 2 a day, and I also take 2 vitamin D capsules, a prenatal pill, and a magnesium supplement. Every now and then I do a nasal rinse, and I missed a spray for allergies, but that's it. Sometimes I feel really restricted and nothing in the house is edible, but we go to Costco weekly and Kroger occasionally to put meals together and try our best. Even if we mess up a little, we're not nearly as bad as we used to be with pounds of pasta and rice and bread. I miss all my bowls of cereal, but I'm so happy to be getting healthy, and especially during this pregnancy. I'm anxious to have my liver scanned next year to see if I have undone some of the damage, which is very possible since the liver can regenerate. I hope to have very little, if any, fat in my liver, and I hope the fibrosis was reversed. I've been getting really hungry lately and tempted to cheat. I hope I can continue to find things that are satisfying and low carb. Whenever I've watched YouTube videos on what I eat on a full day keto, I'm astounded I can get by on so little. So far, I haven't needed to worry about calories to continue to lose weight. Well, 23andMe did give me the excuse that my genetics lean toward weighing slightly more than the average person. I get notifications of all the new testing they do for genetic abnormalities and even traits. They predicted correctly that I can carry a tune and John can't. It also narrowed down my Asian half a little bit. First it only said I was half Southeast Asian, and then it specified Philippines, and now it says Tonga. So I don't really know. I haven't really researched that, but that's interesting that it narrowed it down. I also have a slightly increased risk for Alzheimer's and celiac, and I recently read an article about Alzheimer's, like delaying that process or undoing some of it even just by adding coconut oil. So I've been drinking that in my coffee. It says I get flushed from drinking alcohol, which is true. I don't really like caffeine, which is true. And I am bitten by mosquitoes more often, which is true. Other pregnancy news, I'm having vivid dreams all the time, not about the baby, although I'm thinking it may be a girl too. I think I may be more emotional than I usually am. I was crying for a few days because we had to decide to put down our dog Tyrone. We had him over a decade before any of the kids, and he was a good dog, but he suddenly got too sick to eat or walk, and the medications weren't helping. And I'm not an animal person, so I was surprised at how much it bothered me, but I think I just felt guilty because we weren't really good owners to him. He was just there. We kind of fed him, let him out, and that was it. I'm feeling better about it now, and I know that we made the right decision. We've been enjoying the cooler, overcast weather. It's fall, I think, today, which is my favorite season. We taught Lucas and Olivia the game of Settlers of Catan, Cities and Knights. They're catching on really quick, even though the game is made for 12-year-olds and older. Last weekend we had Norman and his fiancée Emily over. We played a lot of games with them too. We also cheated on our diet a little too much. We're going up to Kansas City next month to visit our original game night teachers, the Seago family, and we're excited to go up there because we haven't seen their kids and she hasn't even met Tony yet. I'm sure Alex is probably as tall as me now. As for other updates, the first house that we bought that's out in Williamsburg wasn't selling, so we decided to paint it and replace all the carpet, and we relisted it last week, but unfortunately it was relisted right when Hurricane Florence hit that area. It was kind of that area, so there have only been a few showings because there were like mandatory evacuations and kind of just put people off from looking at houses. We hope it sells because we're looking into building a bigger home for our soon-to-be family of 8. I'm drawing up floor plans already, and we haven't even bought the lot. It's fun for me. If we're able to sell the Virginia house, we hope to have a quick trip up to the cabin in South Dakota in the fall or early winter. A few days ago, Lucas auditioned for a Christmas commercial for Michael's. He had to show excitement in his face without dialogue, and I was like, that's right up his alley. We took the kids to Crayola Experience in Plano since we have passes and it's dead during the day when kids are in school, which makes it easier to watch them. Olivia is doing really well with her piano lessons and likes her new teacher, Joy. Lucas and Olivia have a poetry tea time this week with other homeschool weirdos, so we did a lesson on some different forms of poetry, and I found this poem book I made in middle school. It's so dorky, but Olivia is relating to the 13-year-old me. I hadn't seen it for so long, and I found these old pictures in it. I had done a test shoot for Ford models when I was 14, and I was so scared and awkward, especially since the photographer was this intimidating French guy that I couldn't understand. The agency ultimately thought I was too thick in the thighs and hips. It didn't result in any kind of eating disorder, thankfully. I went home and had a bag full of Jack in the Box tacos, which was the norm. It's funny to me because I'm actually fat now. Anyway, this pregnancy is dragging on, and I'm so anxious to see him or her already. Well, I'll see you next time. Bye.